the talk shows. And we are also live at Pre-Marital Altar, where Pastor Henry is, his channel. And please welcome. You can watch both channels if you are free. And today, I'm with Carol Ann at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within.
Mm.
Carol Ann, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
I
How are
like
you?
the color of your top.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm good,
just
thank you.
good. So yeah, this week it's
Yeah,
not them, it's your
it's not
pattern.
them, it's your pattern. So sometimes the problem is not the person who left, who disappointed you, who rejected you, or failed to love you properly. Sometimes it's the deeper issues in the pattern you keep repeating. A pattern is a repeated emotional cycle, is the type of the person you keep choosing, the behavior you keep accepting, the red flags. Until you recognize the pattern, you may keep blaming different people for the same wound. This does not mean everything was your fault. It means your healing begins when you stop only asking, why didn't they hurt me? Why did they hurt me? And start asking, why did I keep choosing, chasing, tolerating, or returning to what hurt me? Freedom begins with awareness. Carol Ann, we'd like to know what was on your mind when you chose this topic, please.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because over the past few weeks we've actually been looking at ourselves from the inside out. We've talked about the self-awareness, the behaviors that sort of quietly shape our lives and the decisions we avoid. And as last week, we were talking about the gap between knowing and doing. And one of the reasons that the gap can be so frustrating is because we find ourselves facing something again and again. Situations, the same situation that keeps showing up over and over. Same frustrations, the same arguments, the same disappointments, the same feelings. As you said, there's that repeated emotional cycle or circle. And it can happen with different people. But somehow the experiences feel familiar. And when that happens, it's easy to focus on what's wrong with everyone else. As you were saying, blame people. It's their fault. It's always their fault. And sort of think, well, why do I always attract people like this? Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep ending up here? And I like what you said as well. Why do I keep choosing the same person? Why do I keep choosing that? So today, what I thought we could do is explore a different possibility. Because what if the common factor isn't bad luck? The common factor is a pattern. And what is common in all of these situations is actually you, you know? And it's not because you're doing something wrong, and it's not something we're here to blame, put blame to. Again, it's just this awareness. And we generally repeat what is familiar. So something is familiar, even if it doesn't serve you, it's familiar. So you'll repeat it because in some way it feels comfortable, even though what we're getting is not comfortable. But familiar things feel comfortable. So I thought we could just explore that. Many recurring problems aren't caused by the people involved. They are often maintained by our unconscious patterns. our patterns of thinking, reacting, choosing, communicating, avoiding, even tolerating. And so the goal here today is, again, not blame, it's awareness. So that's where it came from. So I thought it'd be nice to sort of explore that. Perhaps put up various questions or look at it. But yeah, there is a common theme here. There is something that is common to all the situations that you find yourself repeating, all of the experiences you find yourself repeating, all the relationships you find yourself in. the same. And there was a word I repeated there. Yourself. Yourself. Yeah. So that's where it came from. So what were your thoughts when you saw this title? Where did you go with this, Namsa?
I like this title because I think it makes you actually look at things in a different perspective where you have to be honest and ask yourself questions. And when you ask yourself questions and sometimes being honest, it hurts. I was talking about it yesterday because it means it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like you said, Carol Ann, the goal today is to choose to divorce what is familiar and bring the awareness. It's just to bring the awareness and to the experiences that we go through in life. Because when you go through the blame, it's like when I was going through my breakup with my ex, I had to sit down. That was 2008. I had to sit down and ask myself, 2009, I had to sit down and ask myself, where did we all go wrong together? Because it takes two people to tango. And I didn't want to blame myself. I didn't want to blame him. I just wanted to see where we both have gone wrong. But then I realized actually we were both terrible people pleasing. We actually spend time pleasing people. And I looked at it. Now I'm sitting on the other side, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what was that all about? It was never about us. We would do things and start bringing people. And then people, they sabotage. People's job is just to sabotage your life. And I was like, okay, so I need to change. But how do I make those changes? That's when I had to go through psychologist. But I think I got through maybe 4 psychologists. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it. The only time when I got it, it was when I started to fast. And the Holy Spirit now started showing me that no, Nomsa, these people, they're trying to show you, go this way. Stop pleasing people. Work on your character. Work on yourself. It did really hurt. And also my other problem that I had myself, I've always been a daddy's girl, and both my stepdad and my dad, and now in a relationship, the pattern was I was looking to date my dad and my stepdad because I don't get told of me. The life that I was raised in is just to sit down and explain. My family will sit me down. They will never ever let me get away with anything, but they will just sit me down and explain the consequences, what happens when you don't when you don't speak up, don't have a voice, when you don't do what your parents tell you, these are the consequences. So now I'm dating a man who tells me off. I'm thinking, I don't get told off. That means you're horrible when you tell me off. You're not good man. I didn't know that, no, people are different the way they handle things. So I'm like, you're a horrible man. Why would you tell me off like a child? Why would he do this? You sit down with me, tell me if I've offended you. So, and that's the big problem that I had. I was looking to date someone who is similar to my dad, who is similar to my stepdad. And then the conversation, I'm used to having conversation, communication. I'm used to that. I'm not used to people shutting down. And that was the biggest thing. So I had to recognize that people are different.
Absolutely.
And
They
that
are
really
different.
hurts, Carol Ann. You know, when you face the truth,
Yes, it
it
hurts.
really hurts.
It's like, no, no. And there's a huge denial, isn't there, that wants to
Yeah,
be,
but
that
make
is
me
there. It's like,
wrong.
no, absolutely. And it's being able to face that denial and recognize the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah. And, you know, acknowledge you for going there because, yeah, what was going on? There were 4 psychologists that you went through all saying the same thing: stop people pleasing. But it's
yeah,
like there's part of you is going, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, and there's probably an element of also maybe not fully understanding what people pleasing was. And so it's being able to understand what that means for you. How is that showing up for you? Because for a lot of people, the way they do people pleasing is possibly not all the same. So there's a term that was used, and it's like, okay, how does that apply to me? What is it that people are seeing that has them say it's people pleasing? You know, and so there it's being able to then recognize, well, what are you doing? Because I remember many years ago, people saying, oh, that you're procrastinating, you're procrastinating. And I'm going, no. Part of me is going, no, no, I'm not. But yes, I was putting things off, but I didn't understand the word, what it meant. I kept thinking, no, but you don't understand. You don't understand what's really going on here. And actually, that took me on a journey of really diving beneath what procrastination really is. And again, it's a word and it's a phrase, and it's like people pleasing. It's a phrase that is just put out there. It's being able to understand, well, what actually is going on here. And, you know, so that you can then make the changes that are needed. So, yes, it hurts. And it's like there's a part of you that's indignant and in denial because there's a part of you who's going, well, then it means there's something wrong with me. Well, it's also recognizing there is nothing wrong with you. It's a pattern of behavior that you are doing that is in some way attempting to keep you safe. It started at some point to keep you safe, and it was found to keep you safe. So you continue to do it, and it becomes a pattern, a regular pattern. And then it outserves itself because it becomes a pattern that actually is actually hurting you, is actually harming you, and you're not able to notice it. So, you know, definitely if something just gets you in that, no, 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 can't possibly it's sitting with that and having that awareness, allowing that awareness to open up and get to the truth, allow the truth to be there. So yeah, and as you said, you're used to a style of conversation. Your dad's, your stepdad's. Who you're with now is not that style of conversation. He doesn't have it. It's completely different. But that relationship is flourishing, whereas the others didn't. Flourish, you know. I think you can still hear me, but my picture, I remember actually comparing my ex-husband to my dad and making him wrong because he wasn't like my dad, or he couldn't do things like my dad could do, you know. And yes, that was an element that I realized was, and it took me a long time to realize my part in the breakdown of our marriage. But once I saw that, I was able to embrace that and go, okay, and acknowledge that there was a part that I played. And it's two people there in a relationship. So it's recognizing you both play a part. And what is that pattern that you are playing? You know, so, and if this pattern remains unlearned, the pattern often comes back again and again, only wearing a different face. It's with a different person, you know. So again, it comes back to what's the common denominator here. So I guess it's noticing the same issues showing up in different relationships, and it's stopping and asking yourself that question: have you ever noticed the same issues showing up in different relationships? And do you actually find that with your people that you work with, NOMSA, in the dating agency? You know, is there something that you find that keeps coming up time and time again with people that you're talking with, when they're you're giving them that coaching to help them find the partner that they're looking for? Is there anything that sort of keeps coming up that you've noticed or heard?
Yes, I think we live in this world where we don't let people be. We have this picture, like you say, Carol Ann, that the pattern comes back, but wearing a different face. So, yeah. So we live in this world where we have in our head, we have designed that people should behave like this, they should be this, they should be that. For me, in order for me to actually break through from that, I had to go through self-awareness, I had to go through healing, I had to go through being aware that, you know what, every person that I'm going to meet, they are going to present themselves, their own character, their own gift, their own personality, how God created them to be, not what I'm expecting them to be. So now when you talk to clients now, they have in their head, they have what they're looking for. And a man should be that. You should have your bigger hands, you should have this, you should have that, you should have that, you should have that. If a man has this, is that, and they haven't got that, or a woman has this, they haven't got that, that means that they are not enough. But then everything that the behavior that people do, there's a story behind it. So now you have to go to the back of you have to go to the foundation. What is the story? What is making this person behave the way they are behaving? What's the pattern? And then you'll find the actually original story. And then now when you go back, now when you find the original story, you work with them, And now you go back now. So tell me, what do you want? What are you looking for? Now the story is different. Now they are making sense. The story is different. They are no longer looking for fantasy. Their character is out. Like, Nomsa, I'm done with games. I'm done with this. I've been through this. So I feel this is the person that I'm looking for. They are no longer using their design, their image that they have in their head. So, and it takes courage, Carol Ann, like you say, when you were with your husband, you used to compare your husband with your dad. It takes courage as well to actually realize that, you know what, I need to get rid of this pattern. I need to change my ways. For me, I'm very, very lucky. I go to God a lot. I talk to him. I say, help me with my character. And sometimes he will just do things and I'll be like, did you just do that for me? I am like, I'm like, I can't, like I used to be able to look at someone and use my imagination and judge someone. But now I use my time to go and present myself to that person and truly, truly get to know the person without me judging them, without me making any assumption. And I had to do that. It is hard to have that character. It's not an easy character. And it was people in my office that made me realize that actually I need to get rid of this pattern, because you hear people, they're talking, they're making things up. And those things they are making up, it becomes reality. And then about people. And then when you go and talk to the person, you find that whatever people are saying is completely different to the story. To the story. So there's a guy at work. He used to take, is one of the top managers in different office, because there's a business center, different offices. So he used to go like take some time off a lot. So people used to talk that he's skiving, working and stuff. So one day I took time and I went and had a chat with him. And I said to him, what was happening? So I realized that his wife actually is not well. So he goes off and looking after his wife and stuff. And she had given birth, but things didn't go according to plan. So that's what he was going through. But he could not explain the problem to people, and people were making things up. So since that day, when we talked, it made me realize that no more assumption about people. I need to make an effort as a child of God and talk to someone and find out what are they going through. Because the pattern, and when you create that habit, it means in your relationship, you'll be able to communicate with your children. Sometimes I have a showdown with my children. We have a conversation because I taught them to challenge me. I say, don't shout or anything, but if you feel that, no, mommy, this is how I need to do things, you got to tell me, explain it to me. Why do you feel it is got to be done this way? And then I will understand. So sometimes I look at myself, I'm like, oh, I gave birth to myself. I'm like, okay. But yeah, but I think the pattern is sometimes you just have to, like you said, Carol Ann, that you may change the faces, but the pattern will keep coming back, but
Yeah.
wearing different faces. And that is a painful truth. People go through pain. They're not good enough. They feel they're not good enough. They are Christian. They cannot hear the voice of God. They make assumption. So if The Bible says that people perish, lack of knowledge. So it's like, okay, if I need to tap into this, what do I do this? Carol Ann, she's a coach. If I want to tap into her brain, what do? You book Carol Ann, you don't follow her, you don't become a follower. You book Carol Ann and say, Carol Ann, coaching, please. But some people, they do the same pattern over and over.
And that's it. It's because they can't catch the pattern. They're stuck in that it's the other person. They can't see their part in it. And I like what you were saying about people design they got it in their head, the sort of the design of what they want or who they want someone to be, how they want them to be, what to look like. And so when that person doesn't show up, there's something there that it's like they've made a story about themselves, is that I can't get the person that I want, or I'm not good enough, or and so they live into that and constantly perpetuate that because they got that idea of who they want. So they create that story, which then that's the repeating pattern that shows up. And so, yeah, being able to get clear on that and coming from the head into the heart is what I was hearing you say. They come down to what's in their heart, and that's a different story again, for want of a better word, but it's actually more a way of being. It's a feeling. There's something much deeper that they're looking for in a relationship. And it's not about the surface, what a person looks like or what they say or how they say it. It's more about how that person's being. How are they, and that's a much deeper thing to look for or to feel for. But it's not about making it wrong. If you have that, if you are in your head and you've got that idea of who you want and who you're looking for, it's just waking up to the fact that if that person isn't showing up, that there's a reason and there is an ideation, and that actually that ideation in your head, even if they did show up, probably wouldn't sit very comfortably with you, because there's something in the truth that's in your heart of who you're truly looking for isn't in your head and that expectation that you're having, so again, it's coming down to awareness. And so what are some more of the other sort of patterns that there are? There's things like avoiding conflict. I mean, that's a great one in my family. Certainly avoided conflict. We didn't dare have any conflict. You didn't sort of rock the boat. Possibly not asking for what you need. And therefore you'll find yourself saying, oh, I never get what I need. I really don't. But do you actually ask for it? So there's another pattern that would show up in many relationships. Needing approval. Are you aware that there's a part of you that is wanting approval, and therefore until you get the approval, you don't actually take any action? And again, that can create a relationship with your partner, because you're constantly seeking approval. They're not giving you the approval that you're looking for, and it just gets really tense and upset. And it comes down to you are needing approval. It's not them. It's yourself. It's your pattern. And they're not, they don't know that that's what you're seeking. And until you can actually discover that for yourself, that you're looking for approval, and actually come to a point of, well, really? Do I actually need approval? Or what part of me is looking for approval? that younger you, what age you was looking for approval, never got it, and thought that, had that belief you had to have approval before you could do something. Maybe it was something you were told as a child, that you had to get approval first. So that's what you constantly live with. So as you were saying, Nomsa, getting back to that root of where it started and healing it there, such that that younger you can then grow up inside of you completely free of that, I need approval, realizing, no, you don't need approval. The only person you need approval from is yourself. You give yourself permission to do something. You don't need to look outside for approval, for permission, because again, that's another pattern. Are you constantly looking for permission to do something? And your partner has got no idea that that's what you're looking for. So again, it causes problems. And again, it's not about them. It's nothing to do with them. And overgiving is another pattern. Are you constantly giving? But underneath that, is there a reason you're doing that? Because are you wanting some giving back from them? But maybe that's not their way of being. But you're constantly doing that because that's what you want. So again, it's recognizing what's the pattern here? What is happening? And another one is choosing emotionally unavailable people. You say, oh, that person like totally not, emotionally available. Well, you chose them. You attracted them. Again, there's another pattern if it keeps persisting. So again, what are the patterns? And the question to ask yourself is, what patterns do you see most often in yourself and others? And just ask yourself that question, what patterns do you see most often in yourself and others? So yeah, it's recognizing, and those are just some of the common patterns that there are. And yeah, be open and ask, say, well, is there a pattern here? Something's not working and something seems to be repeating. I can't see it myself. I don't get it, because you can't actually hear what you're constantly saying. And so it's maybe asking, this is where going for support with a coach can help you, because they can hear your pattern. You can hear your words and reflect it back to you so that you can go, oh, no, I don't say that. And there's a denial. And then, oh, yeah, you start hearing yourself and it's like, oh, maybe I do. So, yeah, we don't often hear or see our own patterns. Other people do. So, seek for help if there's something that keeps feeling like it's repeating, but you just can't. It's like, well, what is it? What is it? And certainly if you find yourself blaming the other person and thinking it's them, so a pattern can feel like personality when you've lived with it long enough. A pattern can feel like personality when you've lived with it long enough.
That's powerful.
Mm.
And it can indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And it can affect your life.
Yeah.
If you don't deal with it. I like it when you said sometimes people avoid the conflict. They never ask for what they need, and they need approval from the people that they're married to, they're dating. I think for me, I always say, when you enter a relationship with someone, and that person has to be your best friend. A best friend that can know everything about you, and they'll protect you, they love you and protect you. And whatever makes you cry, whatever makes you tick, that person get to know your world. But if you are in a relationship and you have questioned that I cannot communicate with this person, I cannot talk about my needs, I cannot openly get like, because this is the king, this is the queen, and the queen has to surrender to the king. How do I save you, my king, in order for me to fulfill your needs? And the king now has to show his queen, this is how I like to be saved. I like my queen to save me. And then now the king says to his queen, how can I save you as your king? And then they are both serving each other, and they are both loving each other, and they are both walking through this journey that is not perfect. It has its own challenges, but together they are working things out with God. And that's my beliefs. If I'm dating someone that I have to seek approval, I can date someone as my husband, and then I go to them and say, honey, this is what I'm doing this week. Like when I said to you with my dad, me and my dad will get up at 4 a.m. We talk about things. What's happening this week? What's been happening? Is there any of your needs that they are not fulfilled? It's like a communication. You have to train yourself, and everything myself, I feel that it comes from the heart, because when things comes from the heart, you want to work, you want to give your all to that person, not a half of you, not to question your abilities. But people do, they date people and they wonder, am I good enough? Am I this? Am I this? Nomsa, what do you think? Do you think, what do you think? Sometimes I listen to my clients when they talk. And sometimes I laugh. Before I even say anything, I laugh, and then they know the answer. Am I just being hard to myself? And I'm thinking, what do you think? Because you have to speak life to your life. You were created for a reason by God. And that reason, means you have an assignment while you are here. And your assignment is not to question whether you're good enough, whether you are not good enough. Like Carol Ann, you said to some people, they avoid the conflict. I cannot stand people that avoid, sweep things under the carpet. They don't talk about things. They don't do. Me, I look at my mom and I'm thinking, why did God put you and my father together? Honestly, my mom, she's somebody that tells you all. She's like, okay, she's like this. Like if she has to give you advice, she will do it. But there's one thing that she'll never do, interfere in your life. But she will give you advice. Like when growing up as a child, she'll be telling me that man, what kind of a type he is, player, just want boobies, touch your boobies, have sex, leave you. And that one, and you say when you meet a good guy, they want to know you. They want to know you if they like you. They want to go to your pastor, or they want to go to your family, introduce themselves and marry you, and then you have children. And she'll be like explaining and explaining. So I think all these things is the pattern. We have pattern in the roots of our childhood, the blueprint of from our childhood. Some people did not have, some people, you have these parents that have favorite children. They make sure that the other children feel that they are not favorite. So that can affect someone when they are older. If you don't deal with it, it can affect you. So you have some that grow up, they're being ignored by their parents, and some parents divorced, It's not their fault that their parents divorced. But when the single mom, she's having a thing, she goes, if it were on all of you here, I would not be in this situation. Your father left me, the blah, blah, blah. The child grow up, they're messed up. So, so I think it's really, really important to actually know that you are loved, and also fear, because all these things can cause a fear later. And sometimes you may, when you're older, you may want to chase people to love you, or give people mixed signal. You may need approval, like Carol Ann, you say. You may become people pleaser so that people can hang out with you. So it can create too many things. But for me to be able to change, I had to sit down, Carol Ann, and I was like, that's not how my parents raised me to be like. They raised me to be independent emotionally. They raised me to make my own decision, not to fit in with anybody, not to please people. I had to be honest with myself, and I had to understand that if God was to show up today, what will he do? Will he say, Nomsa, you're walking in truth, or you're not? And I made a decision that day that whatever the choices that I make, I am gonna have to go to him. Actually, it was God who showed me that if I have a problem, I need to talk to him. When you're going through something, I was going through something, and then he hears me prepared my long story to my pastor. I want to have a chat with my pastor. I prepared a very long story. I'm sitting down with my pastor with my long story in my head. When I opened my mouth, and God says to my pastor, ask her to come to the altar, come and talk to me. What does she want me to do for her? She does a wonderful work for me, but now what does she want me to do for her? Here's me, I'm thinking, how can you cut me off? I prepared my long story. So now I go to him and I talk to him 1 minute. No long story. I tell him what I need and how he can help me. And then that was it. From that day, whenever I have a problem, the pattern of relying on people, the pattern of telling myself that I'm not good enough, the pattern of wanting people to listen to my problems so they can feel sorry for me. I don't do that anymore. I have had to get rid of it. But first I had to learn, I had to unlearn some things, and I had to come to a realization, and I had to realize that I'm not perfect. And also I had to make a decision that whatever I'm doing from this day forward, when the trumpet rings, plays, I'm gonna be called by my name, not my mother's name, not my auntie's name or my siblings' name. But how do I want my character to be from now on moving forward? How do I want my decisions, what I do now, how do I put myself forward? And I realize in order for me to be me, I'm gonna have to stop the nonsense. Yeah, the nonsense of I'm not enough, in not valuing my decision, and not valuing me. But he had to show me what I've been doing that wasn't right.
And he was able to wake you up. And it is that waking up And that
With my long
realization and that
story.
awareness is like, oh gosh, and recognizing, oh my God, the story that was created. And when you can really get present to that, that you cannot tell that story and how disappointing that is, you know, that person does not really, is not interested in the story. They want to cut to the chase, you know, and you've got this story and you want their, you know, their sympathy. You want them to feel sorry for you and they're not. And it's like, what? I know it is. And it's when you can recognize that and that disappointment that this person doesn't want to listen to the story because it is a story and just go, okay, I feel disappointed. I had a story and I can't, but then to stay present to what is here that really wants to be said, you know, what really wants to be conversed here and opened up into, because that, yeah, that's powerful. So I love it. Love it. So there is something about pattern and coincidence. You know, there's a difference. And because we're talking about a pattern, and we did sort of explain at the beginning, you know, what pattern was, but there is a difference between that and a coincidence. And a coincidence happens just once or occasionally. And there's no sort of obvious underlying connection. It's an isolated incident, just happens. Whereas a pattern is something that repeats over time in a recognizable way. And there's usually a common thread that's running through it, whether it is behavior, belief, reaction, choice, or circumstance, or whatever. There's something there. And it's being able to recognize that, recognize coincidence and a pattern. And a useful question to ask is this a one-off experience, or have I seen this same feeling, situation, or outcome show up before? And that's where you can then get present to the pattern, because whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're hearing or feeling, whatever behavior is showing up, just say, oh, is this a one-off, or have I had, you know, has this been here before? And just allow the question to sit. And if it's a one-off, it's, oh no. But then if it shows up again, really get present to a pattern happening. Because sometimes we just ignore the fact that it has happened before, but it is getting present to the repetition of the same thing. And, you know, it's like looking at, well, what situation does keep repeating in your life? Get present to that. So, for example, I'll just give you an example here. Coincidence is perhaps just a friend forgetting your birthday. It never usually happens. It's just a once. That's just a coincidence. Pattern, you repeatedly find yourself in relationships where you feel overlooked, unheard, or unimportant. That's a pattern. So the event may change, but the underlying experience remains familiar. That's where the deeper learning lies. And that's where we can then get to that awareness of that deeper issue, what's actually there, what's happening. And then when you've got the awareness, you actually have the power to do something about it. And as Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You know, so I think I've quoted that one before, and it's definitely feels very applicable here. Oh no, it's fate. It's meant, you know, it just happens. It happens all the time. So how can it be? You know, it's a pattern. Recognize the pattern. And I know patterns actually a mathematical term, because it's something, one of the aspects in maths, we ask students to look at a pattern, a recurring pattern. What is it that generates a sequence of numbers? There's a pattern there that generates that sequence. And that was something that very often they found difficult to notice, is spotting that pattern. What is that pattern that's happening there? So there is mathematics here. It's a pattern. It's a mathematical term. It's something that is repeating with different people, different situations, different groups. But it's been able to recognize it. And Esther Perel says, the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. I like that. So what is the quality of your relationships? What is the patterns? Dating? Sorry?
Who we marry is the critical component of how we are able to fulfill our destiny. And the people around us. That's powerful what you just put out there, Carol Ann.
And it's also people you're working with, you know, who are you working with? Because if your business keeps going belly up, so to speak, because of certain relationships you get into, partnerships you get into, the business then doesn't flourish. You know, what's the pattern? And again, recognize you are the common factor there. I liked something you said, people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yep.
So the knowledge here is the awareness of the pattern that is being played out. Yeah. Where to now? So I'd just like to close here actually with, once we begin to recognize our patterns, another question naturally follows. Are we choosing what we truly want, or simply choosing what feels familiar? And that's where we're going next week.
I love that. I love that. For me, guys, I leave you with this. Rebuild your identity. Painful patterns can make you forget who you are. You may become the person who waits, who worries, who chases people, who explains and overthinks. Now is the time for you to tend to yourself. Reconnect with your dreams, connect with your voice, your confidence, your purpose, your joy, and your relationship with God. You are not just someone who was hurt. You are someone who is rising each and every day, who is learning, who is becoming whole. It's important to recognize your identity. Your character is the critical component of where God can take you, or how your tomorrow will look like with God. The people around you, the relationship, the businesses, like Carol Ann said, all these things are very, very, very important into your life. I don't know, maybe she's Holy Spirit is talking to her, because Dr. Olukoya was talking about it last night, that your business partners, he was saying you have to choose the right business partners, not just connect with everybody. And for me, I'm not picky, but I go on LinkedIn a lot. Is too many people want to partner with me, but I don't partner with them. I'm very, very, I like to get to know people first, and then what they do, and then I partner with them. So guys, you can follow Carol Ann on her social media handles, and please do subscribe to our channel. 2 channels. Pre-marital altar is for singles. Pastor Henry works with singles. She's my business partner, Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency coach as well. So when you are on board Ngozi Talk Shows and his channel, please do subscribe to both channels. And go to the website as well. Subscribe to we have a free gift on the website as well, where you can sign up and download a free gift as well. And also, if you need coaching, you can contact Carol Ann, or you can contact me, or you can contact other coaches that are on the website, depending on who you resonate with. May God bless you. I shall see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm with the Grant and Amanda. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.